That's 5 people have been injured in fresh violence in Rosettenville in Johannesburg. Burning tires, rubber bullets and stun grenades. These are the scenes that are playing out in Rosettenville this afternoon as protesters continue to clash with the police. Community members have again taken to the streets to protest the scourge of drugs and prostitution in the area. Since last week, angry residents have burnt a number of drug dens and brothels. Protesting crowds continue to gather, determined to ban more so-called crime houses. At least a handful of residents have been left injured as police try to disperse protesters. The city of Johannesburg, Metro Police and the South African Police Service conducted raids here on Wednesday, resulting in several arrests. Now, our reporter, Griselda Lewis, is in Rosettenville, and she now joins us on the line with the very latest. Griselda, good to chat to you once again. Can you just describe the situation in Rosettenville at the moment?
Well, overall, the situation was extremely tense in Rosettenville earlier on this afternoon, where we saw running battles between police and protesting residents. You must remember, you did indicate that the city of Johannesburg had conducted several raids in this area after the residents had complained that they were sick and tired of the brothels that have been running in this area. They said that a number of houses have been hijacked and that drug peddling has become the norm on every single street in Rosettenville. But now after those raids had taken place, the community says those drug pushers and peddlers went back to those areas again, and the situation has not changed. So what they've done this morning was try to organize a march with more angry residents, and they themselves wanted to go and confront those who are running those brothels in the area, saying that police have failed to deal with the situation, despite the fact that they've pointed out a number of houses where these brothels are and where drug activity, according to them, is taking place. So once that happened, they managed to caucus on one of the streets here in Rosettenville. The police had prevented them from moving from one point to the other and moving towards these brothels, which they say they wanted to show police are operating in the area. It was at that point when residents refused and said that police had refused to contain the situation or deal with it for a number of years. They said then police had indicated that they were not going to allow them to march on, and that's when police had fired rubber bullets and stun grenades. And about 5 people have been injured. We can certainly confirm that. And I think what's quite interesting here, Orville, is that it's not just community members that are involved in this. You really see a coming together of all political parties, members of different political parties within Rosettenville who are saying this is not a political issue, but every single one in the community is fed up with the hijacking of houses, with the drug pushing, as well as the prostitution in the area. So residents have really vowed to continue with their action into the night and are saying that if police do not assist them with what's going on here, then they would need to escalate it to perhaps somebody higher. They're saying that their children in this area are being sold drugs, their children at schools are not safe, and their daughters as well are often pulled into getting involved in drug activity and prostitution as well.
And Griselda, from your observations there, are the law enforcement agencies coping with those disturbances? Well,
although they have coped so far because the situation is somewhat much better than it was a bit earlier on. The situation was extremely tense. We saw rubber bullets and stun grenades, but police have managed to move the angry residents now to one of the parks nearby where they'd been protesting earlier. So the situation is quieted down quite significantly, but residents are saying that if police fail to address a situation which they claim they've taken to them over a number of years, they will continue with their protest action. You would recall as well a number of political parties also stepped in to this area at Rosettenville after the cries of these residents. But these residents are saying not much has come from that. It's now turned into a political football, if I may. And it seems that, no one is really taking up the issues and the concerns of the residents here in Rosettenville. So that's what really angered them at this point. And, they were saying that They understand that this afternoon, while they may be taking to the streets, it's almost certain, Aubriel, that this evening it will be business as usual in Rosettenville. In the dark of night, if you drive through the streets, you would see on almost every single corner the prostitution rings are really being run quite openly, and the pushing of drugs, the sale of drugs, is something that happens in the dark of night, and nothing really happens, according to these residents. They accuse police also of ignoring what's been taking place, what they say is right before the eyes of the police. So really it will be interesting to see how the situation unfolds, because this is the second time now that these residents have taken to the streets, and they're saying they'll continue to do that if the situation itself is not brought under control and law enforcement agencies do not act.
Well, thanks very much. That there was our reporter, Griselda Lewis, speaking to us live from Rosettenville, south of Johannesburg. And of course, we will continue to bring you more on the story as it develops.